Long has it been argued whether video games can be considered an art form next to music, literature, and cinema, that they lack cultural impact and the nuance to convey emotional complexity to engage audiences fully. But when all of these disciplines coalesce to deliver a poignant and lasting experience in the form of interactive art, isn't it unfair to have this debate in the first place? Neva tells the story of Alba, a noble warrior of nature struggling in an endless fight against the corruption that threatens her environment. After enduring the loss of a dear friend and protector, Alba finds herself grieving with her new wolf cub Neva, inadvertently setting them on a journey to protect what they hold dear the most. Structured over the course of 4 seasons, they must brave a decay poisoning everything in its path. With the goal of making you reassess your relationship with nature, the labor of purifying evil is a trying one. Neva's growth over the seasons next to Alba's unwavering faith gives a unique window into their challenging lives, finding their connection stronger in real time as the game progresses. Neva, as the loyal pup that she is, acts so naturally it is astounding to see her reactions while the story progresses. Sometimes she will fall and lick her wounds, at others stout to jump a longer gap than usual, only to trust in you to find the courage to do it. The way Neva interacts with the environment is so lifelike and playful. She will try to catch butterflies that are flying a little too high for her reach, eat berries along the way, and run in circles when doing a successful jump. When you scratch her back, she'll be very happy as well. Most importantly, being able to pet the dog in games has become so incredibly popular that it has become trivial. Not here though. Every time you pet Neva, it feels like the connection between her and Alba is slowly growing. If something went wrong, being able to pet her goes beyond the common mechanic that is cute. It genuinely feels that you are comforting your dear mascot against the dangers of the world, while deepening your relationship with them. Neva offers 2 difficulty modes for anyone interested in testing out their abilities. An intriguing decision that calls back to the overarching themes of the narrative is that the story mode does not make you exempt from battle. While they could have easily eliminated all types of violence, there is a central reason as to why conflict is an intrinsic part of this game. One of the main criticisms of Neva's predecessor, Gris, was the lack of gameplay elements, yet in the 6 years since its release, Nomad Studio has been toiling away to deliver a much more interactive experience this time around. Alba has now a trusty sword that can engage in active battle with the forces of corruption lurking in the shadows. Fleshed out and satisfying to boot, Neva's 2D combat system feels like much care went into it. In line with the game's philosophy and not just an afterthought, Alba's act of defiance against the destruction surrounding her forms a well-rounded video game. Her moveset consists of a double jump, a dodge, and a sword attack that can be pointed in different directions. Limbs formed from the decay can try to take Neva from you and damage you in the process. Sometimes rooted from above or below, Alba has to nimbly dodge and position herself in such a place that can banish the darkness effectively. With not a lot of room to make mistakes, the player will have to master Alba's grace and elegance against the many poisoned thorns, enemy attacks, and chase sequences thrown their way. More often than not, set intense chase sequences that push the game's mechanics to the limit feel at odds with the whole premise. While the platforming works, putting you through the ringer and punishing you if you fail a single time on either difficulty mode goes a little too out of its way to show you the precarious situation Alba's world is in. It is clear the world is dying, but the execution of the set pieces seems too demanding juxtaposed with the beautiful imagery, message, and music it is also trying to send. When Alba dies and it is game over, the animation leaves an enduring image that makes you want to be more careful and not repeat that screen next time. Subtle additions to the gameplay experience, like Alba's soothing voice sounding from the DualSense speaker, give a sense of newfound peace in the brief moments of respite before fighting the decay once again. Not only for Neva, but for the player as well. Matching the controller's dynamic light bar with the background colors of each area, it's little details like these that go a long way to leave a favorable impression. There are life lessons that can only be corrected by a wise mentor. As Neva grows through the seasons, it is somewhat disheartening to see her hate towards the corruption impair her judgment and give in to that primal feeling of loathing. Only by Alba's gentle hand, which is optional and not required in any way to advance the story, can she curb her impulses and guide her towards a more righteous path. The art on display is as mind-boggling as it is profound. Rigid, mystical structures crumbling due to the passage of time and gorgeously painted impressionistic landscapes emphasize the urgency of Alva's need to save this world and everyone in it. A strong argument to consider games as art, Neva pulls no punches with its subject matter. Video games take inspiration from real-life scenarios, so reconciling the fact that the story is so eerily similar to humanity's current situation with nature can be uncomfortable for some exploring this game hitting too close to home. If you have ever lost a pet, if you have ever lost a friend, this game will undoubtedly strike a chord. The whimpering of Neva when hurt is surely not easy to listen to, and some story beats will certainly leave you longing for comfort. As Nomada's second entry, Neva succeeds in delivering what all studios dream of: refined controls, a strong art style, and a heart-wrenching narrative. Put simply, a perfect intersection between art and interactivity. One of the most enduring testaments of a powerful video game is turning off your console and enacting real change in the world. Just like how having a child can make you a completely different person and value what you once took for granted, Neva's everlasting message of compassion in the face of adversity is a legacy worth fighting for.